In the rolling hills of central Pennsylvania, where the autumn leaves painted the landscape in fiery hues of red and gold, stood an old Victorian house on the outskirts of State College. Emily Thompson, a sophomore at Penn State University majoring in environmental science, had inherited the creaky abode from her late grandmother. It was a far cry from the bustling dorms on campus, but with her parents away on a business trip to Philadelphia and her roommates opting for a weekend getaway to Pittsburgh, Emily found herself alone for the first time in months. The house, built in the late 1800s, whispered secrets through its drafty halls, and tonight a fierce northeaster storm was brewing outside, rattling the windows like impatient ghosts. Emily had always been the independent type, tall with curly auburn hair and a freckled face that hid her inner anxieties. But as the sun dipped below the Allegheny Mountains, casting long shadows across the wooden floors, a knot of fear tightened in her stomach. "It's just a house," she muttered to herself, flipping on every light in the living room. She settled into the worn armchair with her laptop, trying to focus on her ecology assignment about Pennsylvania's native wildlife. Little did she know that wildlife was about to make an uninvited appearance. The first scare came around dusk. Thunder boomed overhead, shaking the foundation, and the power flickered ominously. Emily heard a scratching sound from the attic above, persistent like nails on chalkboard. Her heart raced. Probably just branches against the roof, she reasoned, but curiosity and a dash of bravery led her upstairs. Armed with a flashlight from her backpack, she creaked open the attic door. Dust motes danced in the beam as she scanned the cluttered space. Suddenly, a pair of glowing eyes stared back from the corner. A hiss erupted, and something furry lunged toward her, a raccoon, its mask-like face twisted in surprise. Emily screamed, stumbling backward down the stairs, her flashlight clattering behind her. The animal scampered away through a loose vent, but the adrenaline left her trembling. She barricaded the attic door with a chair, her breaths coming in short gasps. "Okay, Emily, calm down. It's just a raccoon. Pennsylvania's full of them." She retreated to the kitchen, brewing chamomile tea to soothe her nerves. The storm intensified, rain lashing the windows like accusing fingers. As she sipped her tea, another noise pierced the silence, a fluttering, erratic beating from the chimney. "Birds?" she whispered, peering into the fireplace. Before she could react, a swarm of bats exploded from the flue, their leathery wings brushing her face in a chaotic flurry. Emily shrieked, swatting wildly as they circled the room. One tangled in her hair, its tiny claws scratching her scalp. Panic surged through her. She grabbed a broom and swung it like a madwoman, herding the bats toward an open window. They vanished into the night, but not before leaving her with a racing pulse and a small cut on her cheek. Tears welled up as she slammed the window shut. "Why tonight? Why me?" She curled up on the couch, wrapping herself in a blanket, every creak of the house amplifying her terror. Hours ticked by, the clock striking midnight like a tolling bell. Emily tried to distract herself with her phone, scrolling through social media posts from her classmates at Penn State parties, but the signal was spotty due to the storm, and isolation gnawed at her. Then came the third fright, a low growl from the basement. Her blood ran cold. The basement was a dank, unfinished space filled with old boxes and forgotten relics. Gathering her courage, she descended the stairs, flashlight in hand once more. The growl grew louder, accompanied by shuffling. In the dim light, she spotted it. A possum, its beady eyes gleaming, teeth bared in defense. It had squeezed through a cracked foundation wall seeking shelter from the rain. The creature charged half-heartedly, hissing as it knocked over a stack of crates. Emily bolted upstairs, slamming the door and piling furniture against it. Her body shook uncontrollably. Visions of rabies and attacks flashed in her mind. She sank to the floor, sobbing. "I can't do this alone. Please, someone." As the universe heard her plea, a knock echoed through the house, loud and insistent over the thunder. Emily froze. her mind racing with worst-case scenarios. Burglars, escaped convicts from nearby Rockview State Penitentiary? But the knocking persisted, followed by a muffled voice. "Emily, it's Alex from Bio 101. Open up, it's pouring out here." Alex Rivera, her classmate, a junior with tousled dark hair, warm brown eyes, and a perpetual smile that lit up lectures. They had bonded over group projects, sharing notes on Pennsylvania's ecosystems, but Emily had always harbored a secret crush, too shy to act on it. What was he doing here? Heart pounding, she peeked through the peephole. There he stood, drenched in a Penn State hoodie, holding a backpack. She flung open the door, relief flooding her. "Alex? Why are you here?" He grinned, stepping inside and shaking off the rain. "I was driving back from a hike in Rothrock State Forest when the storm hit. My car broke down a mile away. Alternator, I think. Saw your lights on and remembered you mentioning this place in class. Figured I'd take a chance. You okay? You look like you've seen a ghost." Emily burst into tears, recounting the night's horrors, the raccoon, the bats, the possum. Alex listened, his expression shifting from concern to empathy. "Whoa, that's intense. Pennsylvania wildlife can be brutal. Come on, let's secure this place." Together, they checked the house, boarding up vents with plywood from the garage and sealing the basement door with duct tape he had in his bag. His presence was a balm. His calm demeanor chased away the shadows. As the storm raged on, they settled in the living room by the fire Alex kindled. Power had gone out completely now, but the flames cast a cozy glow. They shared stories. Emily about her fears of isolation since moving from bustling Philly, Alex about his Puerto Rican roots and love for outdoor adventures in the Keystone State. Laughter bubbled up as he mimicked the raccoon's surprised face, easing her tension. The conversation turned intimate. "You know, I've always admired how brave you are in class," Alex said softly, his hand brushing hers. "Debating professors like it's nothing." Emily blushed. Brave? Not tonight. But in his eyes, she saw genuine affection. The air thickened with unspoken desire. He leaned in, and their lips met in a tentative kiss that deepened with the crackle of the fire. Hands explored, clothes shed in the warmth. They made love on the rug, slow and passionate, the storm's fury mirroring their intensity. Emily's fears melted away in his embrace, replaced by waves of pleasure and connection. Afterwards, they lay tangled, hearts sinking, but the night wasn't over. Giggling like kids, they raided the kitchen for snacks, Pennsylvania Dutch pretzels and Hershey's chocolate from her pantry. Alex challenged her to a game of charades, acting out ridiculous animals, a flailing bat, a hissing possum. Emily laughed until her sides ached, retaliating with impressions of their quirky professors. They built a fort from blankets and cushions, sharing dreams under the makeshift canopy. "I want to explore every trail in Pennsylvania with you," Alex whispered, tracing patterns on her skin. As dawn broke, the storm subsided, revealing a crisp March morning. Wait, no, it was early spring in Pennsylvania, with hints of crocuses pushing through the soil. Emily's phone buzzed with restored signal. Her parents checked in, oblivious to the night's drama. Alex fixed his car with tools from the garage, but not before promising a real date, hiking in the nearby Quijana wild area. Emily waved goodbye from the porch, no longer afraid of the house's quirks. What started as a nightmare had blossomed into something beautiful. In the heart of Pennsylvania, amid its wild unknowns, she found not just safety, but love.